You guys watch any of the games?
I watched the highlights.
So a little bit of the Mets today, a little of the Mets yesterday. So
I didn't say minor league.
He's starting.
All right.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. Like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday evening. Welcome to the best darn baseball show on ASAP Sports Network or anywhere else here. First, I want to greet everyone. Just want to say, Brandon, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Ready to talk some baseball.
Good deal, good deal. UL, the big dog, not Roman Reigns, but big dog of the diamond. How are you doing, sir?
I'm great. It's baseball season. It's spring training. We're here. Pitchers and catchers and players all on the field. The sun is shining here in Florida. It's shining in Arizona. Let's talk some baseball.
All right. Then he is not the King Felix, but he is King Felix from Pennsylvania. How are you doing, Felix?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Doing well, thank you.
Brotherly love. I love it. I love it. All right. So
and it's sunny here in Minnesota too, by the way, there, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all. All right. So we got a big show tonight. So first, I mean, I gotta say the Mariners kind of made headlines this last week, kind of right after our Tuesday night show. I thought it made the Mariners relevant. Because this is not the way. So Kevin Matthew made some comments regarding about the players and how the Mariners were doing business. I want to get Felix's opinion on the comments that Kevin Matthew said regarding the whole entire situation.
To be honest with you, they just better just shut it down for the year and sell the team because they're not doing nothing. I mean, I don't want to distort the question at all, but the Seattle Supersonics left. They're itching to come back, and you got this franchise here. Send them out. Send them away.
Oof. All righty. Well, those are some strong words from Felix. Joel, what do you think about the comments that Kevin Matthew was saying about the players?
Okay. Well, see, this is the problem. This is the problem. When you're in that position, you know, there's a lot of thoughts you have, but sometimes you got to squash that stuff. You can't say that stuff publicly. Was he right on some of the cases? Who knows? But the bottom line is you're the face. The GM is the face of the team. He's out there in the public. He's dealing with the other GMs. He's dealing with the press. You gotta, you can't say that stuff. So in my opinion, he has definitely screwed that franchise on a number of levels. He's, put all this tension inside the franchise. He's given, the other GMs, now they're going to be dealing with an assistant GM or they're going to hire a new GM. So Seattle might get suckered in a couple deals coming up. So for me, it definitely sets the franchise back at least 2 to 3 years.
Oh, you guys are killing me tonight already. Jeez. All right, Brandon, I want to hear your side of it, of all this.
I got to agree with the other two guys. I think it sets them back. I think, the GM is the face of the franchise. I mean, everything is said now, recorded, so you don't know who to trust really in the sports world or in life in general. So everybody's got to watch what they say. He's said some things that brought negativity to the team. So, yeah, look what happened. What was it? The Clippers and what happened with their whole situation with the owner and stuff. So, yeah, you just got to watch what you say. But I don't think they're going to move them out or, but we'll see what happens. They're your Mariners, not mine.
Yeah, it's great because all you guys are wrong because he's actually the president and the CEO of the Mariners. The GM is Jerry DePoto.
Oh, okay.
So, boom, got you guys on that one. So I disagree with some of his comments that he said. The only reason I'm saying that is he said that Kyle Seager is also overpaid. I have said that publicly as well when Kyle Seager got that massive deal. I don't think Kyle Seager is even worth that much. I don't think he needs to leave Seattle. That's my opinion. Also, he called Marco Gonzalez boring. Yes, he is boring because he has no zip on his fastball. Do you know who else I called boring? Jamie Moyer. I mean, the only thing that he brought was the stirrup socks. That's what the only thing that great. But, the service time, what do you guys think about talking about the service time about the players? UL, I want to go with you on that one.
Yeah, the service time thing has always been tricky because GMs and team presidents have always been playing with that to not bring a player up until a certain time so they can get another year on the back end before they have to sign that big deal. So from a financial standpoint, it does make sense for teams to play with the players' service time. Is it fair to the players? Of course not. The players want to get up into the majors. They want to try to make that, make major league money, even if they're making the minimum compared to what they make in the minors. And especially now that the minor leagues are a shell of what they used to be with the virus and everything like that, players want that service time. The union has been fighting this for years. So these comments coming out is going to be very interesting when the new collective bargaining agreement comes around. With these comments coming out, players are going to be fighting this. The union's going to be fighting it. He might have opened a Pandora's box with these comments.
Yeah. Felix, do you agree with UL right there, saying that the Pandora's box been open with the CBA?
Yeah, it definitely has. I just remember a couple of years ago, they sent down Spencer Howard, a prospect out of the Phillies organization, because they wanted to make sure he got another year under his belt, under their belt. So, and we needed pitching last year. So, I agree with that.
Yeah, and one Mariners player, Celtic, he likes to talk in third person, believe it or not. His interviews are pretty entertaining because the way he does them is in third person. He said during the interview that Celtic himself, that he could have helped in a way in the last week of the season, which would have helped, probably could have pushed the Mariners into the playoff spot because they were one game away from that. Brandon, I want to get your opinion with that CBA. Do you agree with UL and Felix? Are we all on the same page with this one?
Yeah, I never understood it. I mean, if the guy's good enough, why wouldn't you bring him up and let him showcase his talents for not only himself but your team? So, yeah, I agree. I think something needs to be done because a lot of good players are sitting in the minors for 15 games to a month before they get called up, and we get to see that talent.
Yeah, this actually kind of brings me back to 2015 with the Chicago Cubs because I believe that Chris Bryant, he was called up on April 17th that day. If he would have played that game on the 17th, Bryant would have been considered had a full year under his belt. Since he did not play that day, the courts granted the Cubs the arbitration win with that. And I totally disagree with that. I think it needs to be more fair with the service time for the players because Kevin Mather, one of his comments saying that he said publicly, I believe this was on February 5th when he made all these comments, he said that he'd rather want to put himself in left field than bring up another player. And I think this goes across all teams. Do you guys agree that this goes across league wide, that owners or the front office believes that? I want to start with you, Brandon.
That they toy with that idea, or I guess I misunderstood the question.
Yeah, dude, does the front office toy with the service time of pretty much with the minor leagues, because we have the instance with the Phillies, then the Cubs, now
Mhm.
the Mariners.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, they can call up whoever. So yeah, of course they're gonna manipulate it a little bit and call you up after a certain deadline, just so they can save a few bucks in the long run. So yeah, it's league wide, and you all said it earlier that he. I mean, I understand it from the business aspect from it, but as a player, you want to be up in the majors as soon as possible, and if that's opening day, that's opening day.
Yeah, this guy, he was so cheap that he made the staff park far away from the stadium. That's how cheap he was.
Wow.
Yeah, that he made that happen. I don't want to go with Felix on this one. Do you agree with Brandon?
So I agree that happens, but if a team chooses to re-sign a player, that's not the way to go, because think about it like this: if the Nats knew if they could get Bryce Harper for one more year, you'd tell me they wouldn't do it?
No, of course they would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Keep Soto in the minors for another year, get him prepped up, and then, get him up next year. So of course teams will do it.
Yep.
But they also have to see that the player will leave after the contract's up. If you treat him like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I got that. All right, UL, close us out on this segment right here.
Well, it's definitely league wide, and I think it's going to be more than ever because the league took a bath last year financially. The Major League Baseball lost a lot of money last season. With the shortened season, with no fans in the stadiums. This year, they're going to have some fans, so they're still not going to make the revenue. They don't have the TV deal that the NFL has. The NFL makes all their money from the TV contract. MLB doesn't. I don't think NBA does either. So the other leagues are bleeding money. But Major League Baseball especially, the advantage Major League Baseball has is it's an outdoor sport. So the chances of them filling the seats to whatever capacities each state is allowed is, of course, they're going to make a little bit of money, but they're hardly going to make the money that they were going to make, thus keeping these guys in the minors, keeping their contracts for another year. It's all about the money right now, and it's a shame because there's some great guys that are not going to see the Major League field until probably June or July, and they should be up with the big clubs and helping their big clubs, and there'll be exceptions, but overall, yeah, the players are going to get screwed for the next year, and the CBA is it's going to get ugly when those negotiations go. It's going to get ugly, in my opinion. It really is.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. It's going to get ugly because I think baseball has like one of the best CBAs, like peace between like the players union and the league itself, compared between the basketball, hockey, or the four major sports. I do believe that they have the longest peace treaty going on, and I think that just got ripped up in shreds. All right, on to our next topic. It's this last Sunday, we had our first spring training games.
Woo!
Oh, I was excited. I was flipping through all the games, seeing all the action I can get. Felix, I want to get your take on like what give me your highlights during the first week so far with the spring training games going on.
So me being a Phillies fan, it's like last year all over again. Like you said, against the Tigers, man. I'm just happy to watch the game. I can't. The only highlights. I mean, we got through the game. To be honest with you, I'm just happy baseball's back, and I hope they play 162 like they said they would. I don't think it's going to happen, but I hope so.
All right, Brandon, give me your intakes throughout the spring training.
I enjoy it. I mean, I know we don't get to be able to gauge the players that much because they only have a bat here, pitching inning here. But to see that green grass, hear the smack of the ball around, hear the crowd noise, just seeing the players out there, bring me back to my high school days when I was primed for baseball and ready to go. So February is a good month.
It is. So we got Nate. He kind of commented 135 ERA. Felix, can you explain that one really fast?
Well, every ball he threw got knocked out.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Nate's not going to let that go, is he?
No.
It's okay. Oh wait.
Oh,
All right, UL. Give me your intakes like through the spring training. What did you see and so forth?
Okay, I've seen a couple things. One thing is, thank goodness, no team has had any major injury yet. You know, usually right out the bat, there's a major injury, so we haven't had any of those reported yet, which is good. As far as my team, the New York Mets, they're 1-1. They got shut out yesterday, but they shut out Houston today. McNeil and our new acquisition, Albert Almora, hit a home run. Marcus Stroman looked real good on the mound. Our free agent pickup, Jordan Yamamoto, who's probably going to end up in the bullpen, pitched pretty decently. And our catcher, James McCann, had a sweet throw out at second base. So really encouraged about that. Overall, you know, I mean, I think, you know, spring training is weird because to me, it's so hard to gauge the teams. You know, you just want your starters to get through, get healthy, get their reps in. You know, you want your pitchers to throw enough innings to be warmed up for the season. I mean, I know they're playing 7 innings in spring training right now, which is crazy, but I could see why they're doing it. I mean, you know, because there's barely any fans in the stands. You know, they're trying to, you know, bring these guys along a little slower with analytics nowadays. So, but overall, I think the first 2 days have been successful. I think it's going to get better. Obviously, each team is going to hit a wall. Each team is going to have one major hiccup. You know, hopefully for any of our teams or anybody in general, I would hate to see, you know, a big star go down and stuff like that. But, you know, we'll see what happens. So far, so good. You know, it's just as Brandon said, man. Yeah, it's nice to see, you know, the diamond. Nice to see the green. Nice to hear the crack of the bat. You know, and yeah, baseball's here. Thank God.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed what I saw was actually dads running towards a home run hit ball and I for the ball the most. I just enjoy it because it's people like us out of shape trying to get something. But with that, I also watched a little bit of the Baltimore game. There's a story with the Baltimore Orioles actually. Yeah, his name, it's a right fielder. His name is Trey Mancini. If you guys haven't heard that name, he couldn't play last year because he had stage 3 colon cancer, and and Sunday was his first at bat coming back from colon cancer. And that first at bat, he got a hit. He got a standing ovation from the Pirates also, and also from the all the fans in there. And I thought that was a great. And one game that actually kind of piqued my interest was the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Yankees. Even though that the Yankees were throwing their people, the ballpen people in there, but Toronto had their full lineup up, and they just smacked the Yankees around back and forth. And again, I think.
He got so excited that he froze.
All right. So before he comes back on, I alluded earlier that before we went on, I had a few numbers I wanted to throw out, and we'll cover them later. But it's 1989, 30, and 2,798.
I kind of blacked out there. What happened? Where did I leave off?
Oh, I was just kind of filling in. I just told the guys that I had like some trivia numbers, you know, to fill in. Right. It's 1989.
So let's go to the next segment in here.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties right there. It's the internet. What can we say?
Yep.
Right.
So, last week we kind of hit two of the divisions. The NL Central and also the NL West. But this week we're gonna stick with one division. It is going to be the American League West. Brandon, give me your intakes on what's going to happen in the American League West, and who do you think is going to rise on top?
Well, I think this, you know, might be a decent division. I know Anaheim and Seattle, Texas, you know, kind of probably be at the bottom. I haven't really seen any big moves either of those three. Actually, out of all of them, I really haven't seen any big moves. I know Stringer went to the Blue Jays, so that's probably the biggest loss there. I think it's Oakland's division to lose. I think we're going to have a tight race throughout the whole season, probably between Anaheim and the Astros and Oakland. But I think Oakland will take it. Possibly we could see a wild card team out of this division. You know, can't throw past Houston and see how well they cheat this year to get in. So that's what I got.
All right, Felix. Give me your insights on what's going to happen in the American League West.
So the A's are going to win it, without a doubt. But does anyone know about Verlander's status?
He's still recovering from Tommy John, so he's not going to be back at the start of the year. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, they're trying to get him a trash can as well.
Yeah. So Oakland will win it, and the wild card will not come out of the West.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think
will not.
You don't think the Astros can pull it off?
Nah, no. They lost Springer. I don't think Brantley could replace him. I think he's just. I don't see no Verlander. Greinke, I don't know if he can. Is he even still on the team? He should be, right?
Greinke? Yeah, he is.
He's nuts anyway. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be Oakland without a doubt. Put your money on Oakland.
Oh yeah.
There's your draft bet right there.
Do we know what the playoff scenario is, or the playoff teams? Is it the same as last year?
They still haven't decided yet.
Okay.
They're still contemplating whether it's going to be what the normal or whether they're going to go to 8 teams. That's still in the indecisive at the moment.
Yeah,
I kind of like the 8 teams, but that's just me.
Yeah, me too.
All right,
UL. Will the Mariners end their drought?
No, they will not end their drought. I'm sorry, Sarge. No, you're not getting it from me. I'm going to take a flyer in this division. I think this is Mike Trout's year. On paper, they have got a decent lineup. Ohtani is finally healthy. Ohtani's throwing the ball hard. Ohtani's hitting the ball well. I think the Angels, though, need to either put him on the mound or on the field. And if I were the Angels, I would keep Ohtani on the mound because I think they've got enough bats. You know, they've got Trout, they've got Pujols, they've got Iglesias, they've got Dexter Fowler now. You know, they've got Anthony Rendon at third. I mean, Rendon, Rendon did not have a decent year last year. You know, he just didn't have that chance to transition from Washington to Anaheim. But this year with a full spring training, I think this might be the Angels' year. I can't see Oakland coming back. The losses they had with Simeon and Hendricks, those are two big losses. Losing Springer for Houston is a huge loss in that line. I mean, that's a hole. You can't fill that hole with Springer. That's insane. I mean, yeah, they've still got Altuve and Correa and the other guys, but with Verlander hurt, with Springer out, I can't see Houston do it. Texas is completely rebuilding, and Seattle, they're just not there, man. I'm sorry. They're just not there. So I'm gonna go for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, California, Angel, whatever the hell they call them now. their name is like, it's super long.
I did actually forget Fowler went to Anaheim. So that's huge there. I forgot about that.
Big pickup. They got Jose Quintana as a pitcher now too, so that strengthens their pitching staff. They don't have a decent closer, but if they've got that lineup, they'll score runs. So who knows?
I mean, beginning of the season, I was saying it was still the Astros, but I can't pick the Astros anymore. The more I look at the Los Angeles team, I'm going to have to go with UL on this one. It is going to be a hot take that they're going to actually take the American League West with Dylan Bundy as their starter. Then Ohtani is actually their second stronger as well. But I wonder if Justin Upton can actually be Justin Upton like he did in previous years.
Right.
But I'm going to say, but I think the Mariners have a chance to actually end a 20-year playoff drought this year. That's what I'm saying. Because look, they got the big maple back, James Paxton back with Justice there, and also with Marco Gonzalez. Even though he's boring which he puts on his Twitter account now as well. But he commands his pitches very well. And also, this lineup is really young, with Crawford being the Rookie of the Year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Each time that the Mariners won the Rookie of the Year, which is, I believe, twice in the whole franchise history, they actually made it to the playoffs. And last year, the last week of the season, the Mariners were in the running for that last playoff spot. So adding James Paxton there, I think it's going to add more to that he could eat up some innings for the bullpen, because I know the bullpen is horrible. But I think this young roster with Mitch Haniger coming back, I think they are going to surprise some people. And yes, Nate, they are going to beat your Texas Rangers. So my hot take is the Mariners will make it into playoffs one way or another. Even if it's just one game, I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right. So March 2nd, we're writing it down.
Write it down.
I'm writing it down.
Write it down. Kyle Seager is going to be the anchor to that lineup. If Seager doesn't hit, they go nowhere. So Seager's got to hit. That's the key.
Seager's like a 260 hitter, pretty much. But I rather have his little brother Corey, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, if he can play like Corey did last year, they'll be in good shape.
And Adam Barber is saying, I have Oakland, don't overlook them. Guess what, Adam? We did overlook them. So all right. Moving. Oh yeah. Also, I think all the teams are gonna have like fan appreciation days, and they're gonna have mini trash cans when the Astros come in town.
Oh yeah, that's true. They did not play with fans last year. It's gonna be interesting this year. That's a good point. Wow.
And Houston has to go to LA for 2 games.
Oh.
Even if there's no fans in that stand, I bet you there's fans somewhere.
There'll be fans in the parking lot or something.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, on to the next statement.
Oh.
All right, Nate's on the Angels bandwagon. All right.
Yeah, I kind of, like I said, I forgot a couple guys moved there, so
yeah. All right.
I still like Oakland.
So I like, yeah. UL kind of changed my mind, so
that's fine. No, you actually changed my mind too, but I'll stick with Oakland. I won't backtrack.
All right, so the MLB is trying to push some new rules. It has to get voted in and so forth. I know there's some new rules that are happening through spring training, like the mercy rule that the Atlanta Braves had. I think it was during the Boston Red Sox and the Atlanta Braves that a mercy rule was used, actually. And also now the managers have to agree upon how many innings they want to play. It's either 7 or 9. Brandon, you've been shaking your head, I see. Well, give me your take on these rules for the spring training.
If they're gonna do this, I mean, I didn't even like it last year when they threw it out there for the double headers, doing 2 7-inning games. I mean, baseball's 9 innings, unless it's a rain delay, which is fine. But I was talking earlier with Nate, and I think we need to just get rid of the spring training if they're going to do this stuff, and just do inter squad games. So I mean, like I said before, though, I mean, it's hard to gauge players. Now you're going to cut it down to 7 innings here and there, or all spring training. So it's just going to get harder for us to gauge players. And the mercy rule, I don't know. I mean, maybe it can grow on me if a team's really getting waxed, but I think it was a few years ago that the Yankees up by so much against Boston, they came back in 2 innings and beat them in the regular season. So I don't know. Right now, I don't like the mercy rule, and I definitely don't like the innings limit.
Okay. Yeah, with the mercy rule, I think it's like the pitcher has to at least pitch 20 pitches in an inning. And like that's when you can actually use the mercy rule, something like that, from what I've read. It's like on the pitcher base, and that's what I've read so far. UL, what are your takes on these spring training rules?
Okay. Well, spring training is for experimentation. Spring training is for learning things. Major League Baseball has always been very stagnant in their rules. They haven't really developed with the times. You know, the NFL is always changing the rules. NBA even changed the rules a little bit, you know, as they've gone on. So to me, the 7-inning game, I'm not crazy about, but I understand why they're doing it. You know, especially in spring training, they're doing it for health reasons. They're doing it for, you know, time reasons. They're doing it, you know, to save their pitchers more. For double headers, what they did it last year, they did it more just, you know, so they can get as many games in as they could because of the virus, you know, and that's probably part of their mentality now. I do like the player on second base in extra innings. I really do. You know, Brandon shaking his head.
No.
I really do. And the reason I like it, and I will defend it, the reason I like it is because we all know that sometimes these games go on and on and on. And I know baseball is not a time sport, but the bottom line is we are losing the youth audience because these games are going longer and they're ending later, and the young kids can't stay up and watch these games. So I think MLB is trying to, like, you know, if a game starts at 7 and say that the 9th inning is like at 10 o'clock, you know, so the game could be possibly be over at the latest 10:30, you know, so a kid could, you know, get to bed at a decent hour. But, you know, there's games that have gone on till 3, 4 in the morning. I mean, you know, and it gets to a point where it's absurd. So that's why I like that rule. I do like the 3 pitching, the 3 batter rule, you know, that baseball has instituted. The mercy rule, that is an interesting take, and I'm still up in the air on it. I'm not sure where I stand, because I do understand that teams are getting beat like 16-3, and you're just like, you know, all right, come on, this game's over, you know, whatever, you know. But, you know, as you said, comebacks can happen. If you remember in the movie Moneyball, there's that one game where Oakland had a huge lead and Kansas City came back. Oakland ended up winning. So it's baseball. Anything can happen. So I'm still on the fence when it comes to the mercy rule, but yes, Brandon, I'll stand by my take as far as the runner on second base for extra innings.
Can I comment quick on that?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, he stalled. It's not that I don't like it. I would prefer it to be later, like after maybe the 12th inning. You know, give them 2 innings of regular ball, and then if we don't, I get what you're saying with the youth not being able to stay up late, and these games do go on forever. Mm-hmm. So I could compromise. I mean, it's kind of growing on me, but right off the shoot, I don't really care for it. If they move it back a little bit, then I'm all for it. So I get what you're saying, and I do agree with that. So I can compromise.
No, and that's a good point. I think they're also thinking about, you know, because the way analytics are, you know, managers are burning through their bullpens. Oh, yeah. So by the time you get into these extra innings, you're just burning through pitchers. And even though we have expanded rosters now, still. So I think not only is it a time thing, I think it's a, you know, conserve your pitching staff kind of thing. So, but yeah, I mean, your point makes sense. And if they were to push it to that would, you know, that would be okay. But, you know, I definitely see why they do it in the 10th.
Oh, I do too. I mean,
all righty, Felix. All right. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
So, are we playing Major League Baseball or T-ball? Because that's where they got the mercy rule from. I mean, honestly, think about it. Put them out there; they're earning the money anyway, and let them go. You can't play baseball with bubble wrap on. I don't understand. They're getting paid millions of dollars. Go out and play. You try pulling Bryce Harper off the field, telling him that, we're getting blown out. No, he's gonna go out there.
That's true.
I don't. If you're getting blown out,
I'd go out there.
Take it.
Exactly. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play, as the song goes.
I'll take that paycheck too, and I'll go out there. I mean, but that's just the way where I stand with that. That's crazy.
Yeah, cool.
One thing I do agree with the rules is if it's a double header, 7 innings, I do agree with that one. But having that runner on that second base, to me, it kind of feels like giving the home team a little bit of advantage there, because if they're tied or they're down by 1 score, they still have that advantage with that player right automatically on that second base. And I can see it possibly going like to 11th or 12th, but I have a hard time seeing that extra runner on there. I don't like it. It's just they're just trying to speed up the game, and I just don't like it with that. I know this year also that they agreed not to use a universal DH. My opinion, keep what it is. Keep how it is. That's how that's me. I just like keep it old school. Felix, do you think that the MLB should have a universal DH? Because you're fans of the NL, of the National League there.
Yeah. So back when we had the 4 aces, all 4 aces put a bet in where who could hit the ball the best. And then Hamels ended up winning it. So I'm all for keeping it the same. I understand, you know, when there's a lot of change in a sport, you're going to lose a lot of people, a lot of fans. And I get it, baseball's dying, but you're not going to keep what the fans you have if you change. Because now you're basically changing the whole sport for an unknown, you know? So I'd say keep it together, keep it the same, and pay them more money. No one's going to deny more money.
I'm going to get to a money topic a little bit later on this segment here. UL, you're also a Mets fan. Give me your take about the universal DH.
I love the DH. I've loved it since I was a kid. And all right, we get it. I love the DH, and this is why I love the DH. You know, yeah, there are some pitchers who can hit the ball, but to me, the DH benefits your team. And the way it benefits your team is, you know, when you don't have to make the double switch anymore, so you're not losing a player. You know, I think it benefits the offenses, which in turn benefits the pitching staff, because you don't have to, you know, pinch it for a pitcher when you know he pitched the top of the last inning. Pitcher spot is up second. You don't have to burn through that pitcher. If he's a hot pitcher, let him go in again. You've got enough bats in the lineup. Plus, you know, there are guys that have had their career elongated for being a DH. David Ortiz, Edgar Martinez, Edward Encarnacion, Eddie Murray in his last years, Harold Baines. You know, most of those guys I mentioned are in the Hall of Fame. So, you know, to me, you know, if you got a chance to get another hitter up there, it increases the fan interest of the game because, yeah, I mean, I love a good pitching duel, but most young people who are watching this game want to watch the game. They like the hitting. You know, let the guys hit. You know, and plus, you know, to platoon a guy from DH to first base, DH to catcher, it'll elongate a catcher's career, not having to sit behind the plate every day, you know, not losing that bat. So that's why I'm all for the DH.
All righty. So we're going to go to the American League here. Brandon, what's your take with the universal DH?
I'm old school, but I mean, I get the reason why, like you all said, that it does extend people's career. I mean, Twins got Cruz right now. It's extended his career. If the National League would have had the DH this year, Cruz probably be Met. But you know, so I mean, I get the point, but again, I'm old school. You know, it's just like the guy on second. If the guy on second in old school was at the start of the top of the inning, you would see a bunt, guy over to third, and then you'd see probably a sacrifice, suicide squeeze maybe. But now you got 2 outs to get the guy forward. So I'm old school. I mean, I understand why, and I'm not against it, but I kind of with Felix, and let's keep it the same. It makes it interesting, I think.
Yeah, and there's pitchers out there that say, yeah, I want a bat. I mean, look at Mike Hamilton. Or Hampton, my bad. Mike Hampton he was with the Rockies for a while, and of course,
right.
There's no air there, so the ball travels further. Right. But he was actually a menace at the plate as a pitcher.
Doc Gooden?
Not good.
Yep.
And also, I love watching the pitchers swing the bat and miss.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. And my favorite batting stance of a pitcher is Randy Johnson. Just look it up. Just look it up. That is probably my favorite stance of all time of a pitcher with that.
Didn't CC Sabathia have a nice, weird stance too? Like, I mean, he was a chubby guy, so he just kind of just stood up there, crouched over a little bit. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and Felix Hernandez hit a home run. I mean, I think it's kind of cool when the pitchers actually hit a grand slam.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually like those. So don't take my dreams away. Felix, you brought up the money aspect to pay the players more. My thing is, should the MLB have a salary cap, meaning make the playing field fair? Because you got the LA market and the New York market that rules baseball pretty much. What's your thoughts on that?
So, I mean, there is no cap, but if your owner's ready to spend money and hit that luxury tax, go all for it. It's all up to the owners. I mean, I understand what you're saying with the salary cap, but if there's no fans in the stands, if a team's not selling merchandise like, the Mets or the Yankees, they don't have the revenue for it. So let me ask you a question. Would you want to pay, I don't know, $500 to go see the Mariners?
We're cheap.
Right, but if you pay that, you might get a good player in return. So that's where it comes down to. And I mean, I've been there. I mean, when the Phillies got the 4 aces, listen, ticket prices skyrocketed 100%. It was unbelievable. When we went the year we beat the Mets in the 17-game skid, it was crazy. They were making so much money, but we knew we were getting players in return that were going to provide, and we were going to win. We felt it. So the way I see it is there shouldn't be a salary cap. And if you feel as though there should, be ready to pay the prices to go watch the game.
All right. Brandon, what's your thoughts being in the mid-market team?
Mid-market team with one of the richest owners in baseball at one time. I mean, yeah, it's hard because, like Felix said, prices are going to skyrocket. But again, you bring in some of these big names. I mean, they're going to make the money back in jersey sales, ticket sales, all around advertising. So, for me, when the Twins don't make an offer, I just shake my head. I'm just, I know they can't compete to a point. I mean, the salary cap, there's a luxury tax, which is kind of a soft salary cap, but I think there needs to be something like football. Their salary cap seems to be working out really well for everybody. The basketball salary cap, I don't even know if there really is one. I think everybody just pays and then they make up a number in the end. So I kind of like to see a salary cap because you always hear, I'm surprised we didn't actually hear it this past couple of weeks when Tatis signed his deal, because typically when somebody signs a big deal, you always hear from other owners, oh, we need a salary cap, and it's typically the Yankees that bring it up or Boston that brings it up in the first place, and they're the ones that started all this. So, I'm for a salary cap, but I understand where Felix is coming from, and yeah, I don't want to pay $500 to go see Twins, but I want to go see baseball and I want to see a decent product on the field. So, I'm kind of in the middle.
All righty. You brought up Titus with his contract. In his contract, like on the road games, he actually gets luxury hotel rooms with that contract when he's traveling.
Yeah,
it's part of his deal.
Nice.
It's crazy. All right. Yeah, I know, right? All right, I don't think I got you on this one right here.
Yeah, baseball is a funny game, and without a salary cap, it has definitely become. There is an advantage for I'm sorry, let me start that again. There is an advantage for the big market teams. However, it's been proven, and Tampa is a huge proof of it last season. Tampa's got like one of the lowest, probably the lowest, if not one of the lowest salaries in the league. They made it all the way to the World Series, Oakland has, been playing Moneyball for years, and, they made the playoffs last year. They made the playoffs here and there. The Marlins made the playoffs last year. The freaking Marlins, and they pay everybody like minimum wage, it's crazy. So will a salary cap work? Yes. I think and I don't know if there is, and we might have to check this. If there's a league minimum, I think the teams need to spend at least the league minimum on salary. So I think even there might not be a cap, and I know there's a luxury task, but if there's a league minimum, the team should at least be able to have to come up to a certain point, to spend money. So I don't like the idea of a cap. I've never liked the idea of a cap. However, league minimum there should be.
All right. And my last thing about the rules, the Thursday night full count crew, they were talking about if the MLB should drop the games to 100 from 162 to 100. Brandon, do you agree that there should be less baseball games?
No, let's play more.
All right.
I mean, I used to like it when they scheduled double headers in 162 games. I would say let's try to get it done before middle of September, so you would have to schedule some double headers in there. But 162 is fine with me. I mean, last year I know they voted on 60, so I didn't care for it. I thought maybe 100 would have been even better, but no, I say stay at 162 and schedule some double headers. I mean, so excuse me. So that's where I'm at. All
right, Felix, what's your thoughts on that?
So let's face it. If I want there to be 162 games, but if there's a double header, I could tell you from a fan's point of view, a Phillies point of view, I'm not going to see Bryce Harper for those 2 games. You're a Mets fan. You're not going to see Pete Alonso for those 2 games. You'll see him for 1, but you won't see him for 2. So that hurts the integrity of the game, I believe. Because if you're paying to go see a game, and granted, you'll get a double header game, but I want to see my guys go at it every day. So I agree with it, but if we could limit the double headers, I'm all for it because it helps the integrity of the game. You buy a Harper jersey, you want to see him play. You buy a Joe Mauer jersey when he plays, you want to see him play. So that's where I stand.
I like Brandon's reaction to the Joe Mauer jersey. That was great. I wish that was totally on camera. That would have been even better.
Say it again. I'll shake my head again. No, I you guys weren't around, but we used to have another guy here that had a little beef with NFL player. We used to give him heck. And I kind of got the same little beef with Mauer, and he's a Minnesota boy, and the guy's got skills, but yeah, if I saw him face to face, I'd probably have a couple words with him.
Wow.
Wow. All right. Can we tape that if that ever happens, please?
Go right ahead.
All right, are you in it for 100 games or 162 games?
100, no, definitely not 100. 162 has always been the number. That's the number I grew up with. But there's always been talk of that 154 of cutting 8 games out. What's the difference with 8 more games? Really doesn't matter to me. Last year that shortened season was, it was baseball. We were just all craving sports. So the fact that there was baseball and there was sports, we were happy with it. The way the negotiations went down, the amount of games and the way the players' union was one side, the owners was another. The compromise that came up with was definitely, a little off-putting. But yeah, no, you got to go 162, man. The amount of money these guys are getting is ridiculous. And, and the fact that, out of the 4 major sports, baseball to me is the least, I guess you can call it physically taxing because, you could be an outfielder and you can get maybe 1 ball hit to you all game, the hardest position obviously is pitching and catching, but, basketball players are banging all game. Football players are getting their heads knocked in. Hockey players, you've seen some massive checks. So to me, the amount of money these guys are getting, get out there, play every day. No one player plays the 162 anymore, which definitely, the days of Cal Ripken are over. But yeah, for the amount of money, play 162, man. And 100, no, that's no 162.
Well, I meant the 100 for last season. I don't expect them to reduce it that much,
No.
So
Well, they didn't play 100 last year.
No,
They played like 60. They should have played 100. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. They should have played 100 last year, and I would have been all more jacked for it. I mean,
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, the 60 last year was. I mean, is it a legitimate season? And that's a whole other conversation. But the Dodgers won, and that's it, and we move forward. But yeah, they should have played at least 100 last year. That was absurd the way they voted on that. But
it's good as we didn't have analytics back then, because how hard would it kept to keep Cal Ripken out of the lineup?
Oh yeah. Oh, please. I saw something on MLB today. This is interesting. Do you guys remember Larry Sorensen, who pitched for the Milwaukee Brewers? Yeah, he's got a new baseball product out. I forget the name of it, but they said in 1978, 1979, between the two seasons, he pitched 33 complete games in 2 years. Wow. 33. I don't think Jacob deGrom or any pitchers now have pitched 33 complete games in their career. I mean, it's amazing how the game has changed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing, because if you drop the games 100, you can forget about some of these records being broken, like the home run record. I mean, that record is going to be broken on the last day of the season if it ever does get broken with that. Yep. And also, I'm going a little bit further. You got to look into the minor leagues as well, because you got to cut their games also, because you're going to run into scheduling issues and so forth, and also you're going to get, again, the service time for the players. I just think even 8 games, I disagree with that. You're getting paid to 162. We records are meant to be broken. Go after those records. I mean, come on. That's where I'm at on that one. So with the full count on the 3, this is kind of like a 3-2 pitch thing. I kind of threw a curveball on this next slide for you guys. So, all right. So with this being said, Felix, who do you see could make a big impact on any team this year?
Give me the hometown guy, Mike Trout, Millville, New Jersey.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to take this one. I'm going with Ha Sun Kim. I think I pronounced his name right. I do not know, but he is actually a third baseman for the Padres, and he signed with them from Korea, and he's played in Korea about 7 years now, and he has been averaging about over 20 home runs each year he's been playing, and he's like over 100 RBIs as well each season as well. So I think he's going to be an impact for the San Diego Padres with that one. And Yoel, who do you think is going to be a dark horse for any team?
All right. Well, first off, Felix, I didn't know you were a Jersey guy, so we need to talk off air. I grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey, so
okay.
We'll talk off air. But I have very good friends that live. I have a good friend that works in Millville and lives in Vineland. So, but we'll talk off air. Anyway, I think I'm drawing a blank. I think Lindor, and I know I'm a Met fan, and I'm going with my boys, but I think Lindor is going to be huge for them. I think having his bat in that lineup, and the fact that he's a very good shortstop, a nice big prototypical shortstop, I'll let a Derek Jeter set up the prototype for the shortstops, coming up in the last 20 years. Adding his bat to that lineup is huge, and I think he is going to be the one who's really going to push that lineup. Having the protection there for Alonso, having McNeil leading off, having Davis in that 6 or 7 hole now, having Smith, batting 3rd or 4th. Adding that extra bat in the lineup is really going to help the Mets, and I think Lindor is the guy to watch this year. Really do.
Yeah. You mentioned Pete Alonso a couple times tonight. I actually just watched a show a couple of days ago with him on it, and he was crying, actually.
Really?
So yeah. So it was kind of interesting. It was called Meat Eater. He was on there. Meat Eater is like a hunting show. It's one of my hobbies I love to do. But like he's never hunted and so forth. And I thought, and he cried because he was so happy that he got something.
All right.
So he got his World Series ring. So, all right, Brandon, we give it to you. You're
going to give this to me all season, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry to be the cut you off, Brandon.
No, that's cool. It's all about sports. I don't care. So for me, I got to, kind of take a homer take, but I'm going to go pitching side, and I'm going to name off two, and that's going to be Maeda and Barrios. If those two can pitch well into the 6th, 7th inning, every start to every other start, the Twins are going to be tough to beat in the Central. So I got to go pitching side. I got to go with Maeda and Barrios.
All right.
Maeda's very underrated, and I
Yes.
think he had great stuff in LA, and if he can pitch well up in Minnesota, yeah. I mean,
I think he finished second last year in the Cy Young or third, so in that short season. So
yeah,
I think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah, he's got great stuff though. He's got that curveball that just moves, and he's sick. He's got some good stuff.
Yep.
All righty. So on this last segment that we got, the last slide, we're doing our Mount Rushmore for every position that there is. So last week we did the starting pitchers. This week we're actually going to be doing catchers. So we're going from positions, position 1, 2, and so forth. So this week for my Mount Rushmore catchers, I'm going first so no one can take mine. I'm going to start with Carlton Fisk as my number 4 with that one. Then I'm going to go with Yogi Berra, which is a trivia question, by the way, that's coming up. Then I'm going to get Pudge in there. Ivan Rodriguez. I thought he was great. And my number 1 catcher was Johnny Bench. So, Brandon.
Good list.
Yeah. Well, I worked hard. I studied. Brandon, what's your Mount Rushmore for catcher?
It actually was a hard list. One, because I'm a lefty, and I didn't really study the catching position, even though I did play it in the baseball game. So I went actually more with the guys I watched playing. So my number 4 guy, I gotta go Yadier Molina. I'm sorry, I probably just butchered his name. So I still think he's a pretty decent catcher nowadays. I'm gonna go with Mr. Dodger, Mr. Met, Mike Piazza. I thought he was a pretty decent catcher for the Dodgers and into his later career. Pudge on the list, definitely. I thought his throw down to second was a bullet, even in the crouching position or even on his knees. It seemed like every time somebody tried to steal, he just had that rocket of an arm. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go with the hometown boy because I actually got to play against him in an amateur baseball game. Terry Steinbach. I played against him up in New Ulm, so yeah, I left the other guy off.
Terry Steinbach. Wow.
Yeah. So that was more of a homer take just because I got to play against him.
Is there any room for Joe Mauer?
For who?
Any room for Joe Mauer there?
No, our Mount Rushmore is pretty stacked. So I mean, I can find a pebble or something.
All right. Well, give me your Mount Rushmore.
Okay, well, it's my dad is a huge baseball fan, so it's been fun to talk with him about the Mount Rushmore discussion every week. Yeah, him and I had a real long conversation about it today, and we both came to this conclusion. Johnny Bench is definitely number 1. Yogi Berra is definitely number 2. For us, Roy Campanella was number 3. From the old Brooklyn Dodgers. The 4th one is an interesting pick. He had Carlton Fisk. Now, I loved Carlton Fisk, but growing up, I was a big Gary Carter guy. I loved watching Gary Carter play. Even when he played for Montreal before he came to the Mets, I loved watching Gary Carter. Piazza's got the most home runs out of any Hall of Fame catcher. Yeah, Pudge Rodriguez was an amazing arm behind the plate. He's got the most hits. But, to me, Gary Carter was like, he wasn't that athletic, but he hustled. He had a decent arm. He got clutch hits, So my 4th is going to be Gary Carter. I'm going to go with the kid.
All right, Felix. Let's see your Mount Rushmore.
So I'm more of I could only rank players that I've seen in my era. I respect the game, the history of the game, but I like to go from what I've seen. So number one, I got to go with Dutch Dalton, one of my favorite players of all time. Class act. It's a shame he passed away a couple of years ago, but that's my number one. Number two, I can't go, and call me a homer, I don't care. Chooch. We wouldn't. I believe we wouldn't have a World Series without him. Then I got to go Buster Posey. He killed us. I got to respect him. He has a good game. He caught some great pitchers. And then I got to go Yadier Molina. He killed us as well. You got to give the man props. He's an awesome catcher. But that's where I'm at.
Do you think Yadier Molina is a Hall of Famer?
No.
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 He's on the borderline for me.
No.
He's on the borderline, you know?
Yeah, I say he's
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
borderline.
I just don't. He was out for a couple of years. He was hurt a couple times. I believe he hurt his thumb one year. Then he got that
Right.
groin thing the other year. Don't get me wrong. He caught Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, good pitchers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think he's borderline. But I think there's going to be better players that will get in before him. If he does get in, it'll be some time before he gets in.
Right. There's a name I want to throw out to everybody, and it's unfortunate that he never played in the majors, but Josh Gibson. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Josh Gibson. Josh Gibson played in the Negro Leagues, and he played in the Mexican League. Josh Gibson was an incredible athlete, incredible catcher. He hit 441 one season. And actually, in December of 2020, the MLB have adopted all the stats from the Negro League. So now they consider Josh Gibson's 441 season as the highest season in professional baseball.
Oh, wow.
So look up Josh Gibson. His stats are amazing. He played, he died very young, unfortunately. And he died right around the time that Jackie Robinson and Larry Doby were allowed into the major leagues. But yeah, check out Josh Gibson.
Okay. So before we move on, like I said, I had some numbers. So 1998, or I'm sorry, 89. 30 players have done this in 279 games. Have you guys know what it is?
30 players since 1989.
1989 is the last time it happened. So we're going way ahead of time.
I'm going to say they hit a home run cycle.
No.
Hit 4 home runs in a game.
No. It's actually the topic we're on right now, actually, kind of.
Oh, with catchers?
Yes.
Threw out four guys trying to steal a base.
No, you guys are way off. But so actually, since I'm a lefty, it is how many times a catcher was a left-handed catcher? Yeah. The most was one guy. He was Jack Clement. He caught over 1,000 games as a left-handed catcher. The last time it happened was 89. It was a guy from Pittsburgh, Barry DeSanfano, I think is how you pronounce it. So, honestly, I never thought a lefty caught it in the game. So I kind of looked it up while I was doing my research, and I was kind of intrigued by that. So throwing that out there, could we see more left-handed catchers now that the game's kind of producing more left-handed hitters and stuff like that?
Anything's possible,
Exactly.
I mean, anything is possible at this point. You never know.
Yeah, I think what you'll see is more left-handed DH that should be catchers.
Yep.
Like if the universal DH goes, I do think that the universal DH will make catchers who are supposed to be catching left do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All righty. So, Felix, you brought up Buster Posey, and I will have to say this. I read something last week. This is like his last season.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah. I read that this was his last season. I mean, since he took that big hit, I forget what year it was. I just think like his career just went downhill, kind of like Joe Mauer, but Joe Mauer's went faster.
Yeah.
So I can't talk much. My team is too cheap to pay anybody. So
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the Mauer contract.
No, that injury to Posey really hurt his career. Unfortunately, he was rolling. He was playing so well, and he was hitting the ball really well, and playing real good defense. And then that one hit, it was like a collision at home plate. And ever since then, he just hasn't been the same, unfortunately. And it's sad because he was a great player.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, guys, I just want to say thank you for coming on tonight. Brandon, can you tell me anything about T-shirts?
Oh, geez. I forgot to wear it today. But, if you are watching the show, comment, like, share each show. You can become viewer of the month. I have not heard if we had a name thrown out there for February yet, but, I was actually the first one to do it, and look where I'm at now sitting. So just keep doing that. And if you don't want to comment, share, but you like the shirt, contact anybody on the ASAP network. We'll get you in contact with the right people, and we'll send you a shirt for $14.99. And if you're a bigger guy like myself, a few extra dollars, we'll get you a bigger size.
That is true. And, St. Patty's is coming up, and if you need some green, there's some green with this T-shirt. I mean, there you go. All right. So Felix, you got 30 seconds. What's going on?
So I want to keep. I got my 08 Phillies jersey on, my Utley. Oh, I missed that parade so much, and it's when I watch that spring training game, I can only imagine how far away my team is from actually winning it this year compared to the 08 team that actually won it. It's like, oh my God, did I go through World War III? It's crazy. And I'm still going to be a Phillies fan regardless, but it's thank you.
And the ERA
Roy Halladay's rolling in his grave right now. But yeah. Oh man,
that's too
all I have
funny.
to say, yeah.
All right, and we got Joe Mauer's #1 fan, Brandon. You got 30 seconds.
No, I'm just happy baseball's back. I think, in the offseason, we saw a lot of movement, which made a lot of teams better. Unfortunately, not my team, not the Mariners, not the Phillies. I'm not going to talk about the New York teams because I don't really care for them either. So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm glad to see the Mets, made some moves, for Yoel and them. So, at least it gives the Yankees a little firepower over there, battleground. But I'm ready. April 8th or something we're starting? Something like that? Real baseball or something? So I'm ready. So.
All right.
Let's go.
All right, UL.
All right. Well, I'm actually going to plug one of our newest shows that's premiering next Monday at 8:00 Eastern, 7:00 Central. It's called Bring It. It's going to be on the all new Talking All Sports All Plays network. It's going to be simulcast on All Sports All Plays. I think Felix, you're going to be part of that show.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be hot sports takes. We're going to bring it. We're going to bring it hard. So make sure you guys tune in, and then we're going to set it up, and then Real Talk's going to take it home on Monday night. So make sure you guys tune in. But let's bring it.
Yeah, and my thing is, we had 2 great nights here on this network. On Sunday, we had 2 professional wrestlers on Between the Ropes. If you guys have not seen that was a pretty fun interview that I was doing.
Yes.
Then last night, I believe Rachel Hill, it was.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a good show last night.
Yep, and she schooled the boys on Monday. So
she did.
Oh,
she did.
it was awesome. So catch it out. Say what?
Oh, when Jay made his predictions for his hot take, he picked the Cardinals to win the division and get the first round bye, and she almost hit the floor with that take. So yes, that was some great. You guys gotta watch it.
Yep. So, with that being said, I am the Sarge. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll catch the other full count on Thursday nights at 5 p.m. Central, I believe. Is that correct? No.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're not on that show.
All right. Well, just check the first.
Yeah, that's the minor leagues.
That's
Oh,
the
the
minor
minor-
league show.
All right. So check out the other crew on Thursday nights on the Full Count with baseball. Baseball is going to get heated up, and next week we're going to be talking why Bryce Harper is jinx. So, all right.
They say 10 p.m. Central.
10 p.m. Central. All right, there we go. Thank you very much. All right, guys. You guys have a good night. See you next
right.
Tuesday. Sarge out.
All right.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information, hitting the airways.